strong, union proud.
This particular store is Howard Schultz's home store, so we're hoping that that message comes across clear to him, too, that we're not going to tolerate union busting.
We will not tolerate union busting. Love to see it. This was happening all over the country, and as you know, yours truly has stood side by side with Starbucks workers in many a city, not just my hometown, but also in New York. I went past a couple of places this weekend while I was in LA. Really so tremendously proud to see those workers get out there and fight for better wages, better work conditions, and a better pay. So those were indeed the Starbucks workers doing their thing, taking it to the streets. Starbucks workers began a 3-day walkout at 100 US stores, and good for them. More than 1,000 baristas at 100 stores are planning to walk out, or did walk out, according to Starbucks Workers United, the labor group organizing the effort. The strike will be the longest in the year-old unionization campaign. The process has been contentious. According to the National Labor Relations Board, Workers United has filed at least 446 unfair labor practice charges against Starbucks since late last year, including that the company fired labor organizers and refused to bargain. The company, meanwhile, has filed 47 charges against the union, among them allegations that it defied bargaining rules when it recorded sessions and posted the recordings online. What, exposing y'all for threatening workers? Is that what you're suing them for? Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz has been hell-bent on making the lives of workers who are trying to unionize, making their lives an utter hell. Let's put up this headline. Howard Schultz blasts unions as outside force trying to disrupt Starbucks. You mean the type of disruption that gets people better pay? Is that what you're talking about, Charlie? I'm trying to understand you. Starbucks illegally denied raises to union members, Labor Board says. The National Labor Relations Board is seeking compensation for workers whom it said the company had shortchanged. And this doozy right here, ex-Starbucks manager claims he was told to punish pro-union staff. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do illegal stuff. Thank God for that manager. So Jessica, the same story. I mean, this dude just will not do right by his work.
Yeah, and I mean, the workers are unionizing and striking for good reasons. If I were to say someone took away someone else's house, that's violent. If I were to say someone choked somebody else, you'd say that's violent. If I were to say someone starved someone else, that's violent. But when you have the kind of job where you have to work 80 hours, 60 hours per week in order to keep it, you're filling in for extra shifts. And if you don't work those shifts, your house will be taken away. And if you don't work those shifts, you won't be able to put food on the table. And by the way, there's no PPE and you've got to expose yourself to the pandemic or get fired. You could lose your ability to breathe and end up in the hospital. These are the working conditions that motivated Starbucks workers to unionize. And for some reason, the law in the United States has not been able to stop Howard Schultz from union busting. That's a failure of the US government. And all workers can do now is withhold their labor to get a message across. If they stop working, Starbucks stops making money. Really, they're doing the one thing that they can. And so it's really, really sad that we're ignoring basic human rights by not protecting workers' right to unionize right now in the United States. And it's only going to get worse in this next legislative session when we hear more cases before the Supreme Court. And they consider that workers will potentially be financially responsible for losses during strike times. That would be insane. That would be absolutely stripping workers from their right to strike, which is the last thing they have to fight for their basic human rights.
That is exactly right. And I think that what this White House has just done in this Congress in reference to rail workers incentivizes the Supreme Court, unfortunately, to maybe do what they might do, which I hope that they don't, because as you stated, and we all know, the workers being able to withhold their labor that's the ace card. That is what they have. That is the ultimate power that they have. And this is really a shame. But Schultz may be feeling the brunt of his action. New penalties for companies that illegally fire workers who unionize. In a big win for labor unions, the National Labor Relations Board ruled on Tuesday to expand the fees and penalties that agencies can collect from employers that illegally terminate workers for labor activism, both union and non-union, in a move long sought after by the labor movement. And this is finally some good news for once. Beautiful thing. And let's put up this tweet from the one and only Dr. Robert Reich. Solidarity with at SB Workers United, who went on strike today in protest of the company's refusal to bargain a fair contract. If the CEO of Starbucks can't afford a super yacht with a helicopter pad, he can afford to meet the very reasonable demands of his unionized workers. Bolded, underlined, and underscored. Yes, he could afford to do that.